Yo, what is good, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Drew, back at it again with another NCAA 25 video for you guys. Now in today's video we are going to discuss some of the best teams to use in Dynasty mode. Now in our last Dynasty episode we did possible rebuild teams. In today's episode we're going to do some of those teams that might make you a little bit more competitive in an online Dynasty or even in Play Now if you don't want to use one of the top schools in the nation. Now, some of these schools are based on the players that they currently have on the roster and also how well they did last college football season. Also, I wanted to give you guys an update if you are new to the channel about a new series on the channel called Subscriber Dynasty. Now, what it entails is I'm going to take you, the viewers and subscribers, and put you guys on my new created team to create the next powerhouse in college football. All you have to do is comment below what type of player you are, your name, your looks, everything that you want me to know about your player, even some storylines as well. Now, if you want to be an instant starter or an instant lock to be in season number 1, all you have to do is become a channel member and join for only $2.99 a month. If you don't mind waiting still, I'll put you in the recruiting class for season number 2. So make sure that you guys check out and join for Subscriber Dynasty season 1. Now, first up on our list for the Dynasty teams, we have the Troy Trojans. Now, Troy Trojans was one of the best teams in college football as they finished 7-1 in their conference, but 11-3 overall. Now, they might not be the most popular team in the nation, but they for sure know how to play some football out in Troy. Now, they're most noted for their talent on the defensive side of the ball as they had 2 players last season that were over 10 sacks. Now, you are losing star defensive lineman Javon Solomon, who had 16 sacks last season due to the NFL, but you are returning star defensive end Richard Jabunar this season, who had 10 sacks on the season last year. Now, one of the biggest notes about the Troy Trojans is how good their offense is. They had almost 4,000 passing yards on the season last year, and they had a star running game with Kimani Vidal with 1,661 yards. Now, you won't have Vidal this season as he is one of the NFL draftees this year, but you do have some young talent that is behind him waiting to make their mark for this Troy Trojans team. Now, the one thing that makes Troy a great team to use is they are very young and have a lot of youth all over the entire squad. Now, the only thing that's going to be hard for you is if you can keep them on the team as they're not the biggest school. So as long as you can keep this talent from going into the transfer portal, you should have an excellent time using Troy in your online or offline Dynasty season mode. Next up on the list, we have the Memphis Tigers. Now, the Memphis Tigers are probably going to be one of the better teams on this list as they were one of the better teams in college football last year. Now, like I said earlier, the only thing with Memphis is they're not the most notable team in the nation. They're not your Ohio States, they're not your USCs, they're just Memphis. But there's a lot to say about Memphis. They have a lot of good talent all over the roster. Now, they will be returning their star quarterback Seth Hennigan this year as he was the number 4 quarterback in the nation in yards last season with 3,800. They also have former 1,000-yard receiver last season returning in Rock Taylor. They're a very young team and they can make a lot of things happen on the offensive end. They will probably be one of the more explosive offenses you use, but they're a little bit weaker on the defensive side. So you might have to do some work recruiting for your defense, but Memphis is by far a powerhouse to use and an under-the-radar team for an online or offline Dynasty mode. Next up on the list, we have the North Texas Mean Green. Now, this is probably going to be one of the more under-radar teams, and it's going to be probably one of the more difficult teams to use on this list. But the North Texas Mean Green did not disappoint last season as they were one of the top offenses in the league, averaging 495 yards a game. Now, the only thing that's going to be hard about the North Texas Mean Green is they did lose a lot of their players due to the transfer portal. I mean, not everybody wants to play for North Texas, so it's going to be difficult for you to use, but the one thing that stood out to me is how many yards they are gaining per game. Now, if you look at that, it's probably due to their play calling and their scheme. So North Texas probably has to be one of the best schemes to use in the game, and they're going to be a team that can rack up the offensive yards. Now, it's going to be up to you if you can recruit and build this team to the next level, but it should be a good stepping stone. Next up on the list, we have one of my favorite teams to use in the Texas State Bobcats. Now, this team is really young and really talented, and they have a lot of returning prospects this season. Most notably their star quarterback TJ Finley, who is only a sophomore, so if you have the ability to keep him around, I would highly do so. He had 3,400 yards on the season, 24 touchdowns, and only 8 interceptions. Now, he's a bigger quarterback, kind of reminds me of like a Jameis Winston style, but he's a little bit more athletic and has a cannon of an arm. They also had one of the best running backs in the nation last season in Ismail Mahdi. He had over 1,300 yards on the year and 10 touchdowns. The only thing that they are lacking in is a little bit of receiver talent, but that's something that you can build over time in the recruiting process. They also do have a star senior linebacker in Brian Holloway, who led the team in tackles with 105 and also in interceptions. Now, Texas Tech is going to be one of the most hyped team, and they're going to be a team that you want to build for sure, as they're going to play their hearts out, and they got probably the best, youngest talent around that you can use right now. Next up on the list, we have the New Mexico State Aggies. Now, the Texas State Aggies are going to be one of the more solid teams that you can use, but they can definitely hang in an online dynasty. Last year, they finished with a record of 10-5, and they were second in their conference. They are led by dual threat quarterback Diego Pavia. Now, he had almost 3,000 passing yards last year, and he also led the team in rushing with 928. So that's a quarterback that can not only get it done in the air, but he can get it done with his legs as well. He had 28 passing touchdowns and only 9 interceptions, and he also had 7 touchdowns rushing the ball as well. Now, they're a really young team, but they lost some of their better players to the transfer portal, most notably star linebacker Keyshawn Elliott. So it's going to take some time to get them built back up on the defensive side, but they still have a lot of young talent to get them through the next level. They didn't have any big-time receivers, as their leading receiver last year was Jonathan Brady with 624 yards, but they also had receiver Trent Hudson, who had 500 yards, but he also tallied up 10 touchdowns. So you don't have that number one receiver on the stat list from last year, but that honestly sets the stage for the next season to build off of and have a star receiver this year. Now, they have a good, pretty decent recruiting class, so you guys should have a lot of young talent to build around, but New Mexico State is going to be one of the better teams to use, and you also get to play some good talent as well. So let me know what you guys think about New Mexico State. And that's going to do it for today's video, man. I hope that you guys enjoyed the video, and I hope that you guys got some new teams to possibly consider using. Now, I'm going to keep dropping lists like this, as I definitely take the time to look and see what all these college programs have to offer and see what kind of players are still on these teams. Now, I hope that you guys are enjoying the series, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the channel as well. So if you don't mind, go ahead, drop a like and subscribe if you are new. Now, also in the comments, let me know what type of videos that you guys want to see. I definitely want to bring some more Dynasty videos for you guys and let you guys know what teams that you could possibly look to use in your future Dynasty modes. I also have some ideas of doing some possible teams that you could play Road to Glory on and some other key videos. So let me know in the comments what you guys want to see. But as always, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget, if you want to be in the subscriber Dynasty, that you guys subscribe and that you comment your player today. Instant starter, you can be a channel member and earn that spot instantly, so don't forget to check that out as well.